Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Little Prince. I'm fangirling, okay?
So am
We
I.
have somebody so exciting. This is actually our first ever traditional published author. And we
Yep.
are literally screaming, I don't want to fangirl too much. I'm gonna get it collected. JV, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would love to introduce our guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up. We have Kayla Olson here today.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, I know author of The Reunion with that
Mhm.
beautiful sign in the background,
Yes.
author of The Lodge. I have The Lodge right here.
Yay! I'm glad you guys have your books handy because mine
We do.
are far away.
We do. We wanted to show them off, and
Oh, so
You.
gorgeous.
I I've been
Put it
recommending
down.
Oh.
I've been recommending them to everyone who's willing to listen because it's such a and Tyler and I were messing. Tyler, am I talking too much already?
No.
Kayla, do you
Can
want
we
to
let her
introduce
say
yourself?
hi? Yeah, say hi, Kayla.
Gosh, I'm just listening. I'm like, yes. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
talk.
you for recommending my books and for reading them, for having me on. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
Kayla Olson. I am the author of four books so far, two of them in my young adult survival dystopian era, and then the most recent two in my adult rom com era. And my next one is also an adult rom com. So I'll be here for a bit. No real moves to go backwards to YA.
You
Pandemic
knock
shut
it
all
out of
that
the
down for
park.
me. Oh,
You're
thank
like
you.
I when I say I binged, I did a 24-hour challenge. And it wasn't even like it was less than 24 hours. I think I was at like 22 something hours and I read your book front to back. And I was like, "What do you mean it's done? What do you mean?" I loved it. And I know
Thank
JV you
you.
had a similar experience.
I
JV is not
did.
a
Not a
rom-commy girl.
rom-comer
Oh.
usually.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
them deep and dark and trauma
Mm,
but this one I
yes.
was messaging Tyler. I was like, this is like a hug, like a warm
Yes.
blanket wrapped
You.
around. Yeah,
That's see, like all you trauma readers, you just need a palate cleanser and a warm hug every now and then.
we do,
Yes.
and you're definitely
Yeah.
gonna be an auto buy for me if you write
Same.
Thank
more of this.
you. Thank
Because
you.
this is it, and then so Tyler, just before you hopped on, Kayla, Tyler was like, "Oh, what were the names of the main characters?" And I was like, "Well, the
The boy is a
female
Tyler.
is Alex, and the guy, Tyler." And she's like, "No way."
Yes.
I was like, "Are you having dirty thoughts about me?" And she
That's
was like,
hilarious. Yeah, I had
"Speaking."
friends, like childhood friends growing up, and the parents were Sydney and Justin, and all the kids were like Ryan, Dax, Tyler, and Zachary, but of those 2 were girls, and like just
I
unisex
love
names all the way
that.
through, and I've always been like a fan of it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just always loved the name Tyler. Yeah. So,
Oh, I feel like that's one thing I got shut down on during pregnancy was unisex names, and I was like,
I love
"What do
those.
you mean?" I loved Charlie, I loved Mikey, I even loved, like,
yeah.
Samson, like, I just
Uh-huh.
I think that they're so universal and so unique.
Yeah.
I love a James for a girl. I love a Ryan for a
Mhm.
girl. I love a Frankie for a girl.
Yes.
I love
I always
all
thought
those.
Jude would be a good girl.
Jude.
I love
Mhm.
that. So maybe I'll have to name a girl Jude.
Yes, in your next book for sure. You should
Yeah.
definitely do it because I think it's beautiful. See,
I think you're
we're
in
just
edits now, but maybe in your next book.
Oh, my, yes. I have ideas. I have new ideas percolating all the time. So,
yeah. So where
I'm
are
really
you right
excited.
now in your next book? I hear that you are swamped right now with edits for your next
Yes.
book.
I am finally this actually hit at a really good time. We've had this on the calendar for a long time, and,
Mhm.
I remember saying, like, I might have to postpone if my deadlines get in the way, but I'm thrilled to say, like, I turned in my book about a week and a half ago, almost 2
Nice.
weeks, and, it is such a relief because we're finally past all the developmental part where you're just refining the story and making sure all the character arcs are in place. And now we're moving on to copy edits, which is still tedious, but much different because the story is set. Now copy edits are just, trying to polish up all the language and the punctuation and make it as
Tighten
tight
it
as
up.
possible, ugh, which has been the story of my summer already because I had to cut, like, 5,000 words on my last
That's
draft, and
crazy.
I didn't personally feel like there were 5,000 words to cut, but, I found them. Found about 4,500 of them.
Oof, was that
Um,
Wow.
because you're and so
yeah.
sorry, I'm self-published. Trad
Oh,
publishing
okay,
is
yes.
still
Very
very much
different.
something I mean, I would like
Yeah.
to try my hand at it with
Mhm.
my next book,
Yes.
but still definitely I'm learning a lot. So was the requirement to cut self-imposed, or was that something that your editor
No.
said, "No, you gotta bring the word
Yes.
count down"?
Yes.
Got it.
So I tend to my first drafts tend to be kind of on the short side, so I tend to add and revision. And my second draft, I had a lot of work to do also from the editor. But I added too much. I added kind of in both the lodge and the reunion, there's a bunch of interstitials, the little like media chapters in between.
I
And this
Mm.
love
isn't just
those
a
though.
oh,
I
thank you. I
did the
love
lodge
writing
have
them.
them too?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. I wanna read it.
So, and
Yeah.
this one didn't at first, but now it's not so much media as it is like they're on a hiking trip, and so I have it broken down by like day 1, day 2, day 3, and kinda like snippets from a travel guide that I made up, and then,
Nice.
little like
Yeah.
journal entries and vlog posts and stuff like that, and so I added a bunch of that, which blossomed like 4,000 extra words off the bat, and then I had to add some more scenes in there, and so just kind of bloomed into this thing that was slightly too long. And so on the next draft, my editor tried to cut like 11,000 words from it.
Ooh.
But
Oh.
it's a huge chunk. And with
Mhm.
a book like this, where it's dual POV, and then they're on a hiking trip, so it's very linear story progression, so it's hard to just, like, skip forward in time. So, it's hard to just, like, cut whole sections without losing context or depth with the
Correct.
emotions and
Yes.
all that. So, I cut off of that draft, like, she suggested about 11,000 words, and I ended up cutting, like, 3,000 words of her suggestion.
Like, I'm not
And
doing
she
it.
was like, "Well, yeah," like, cause I think she was really just trying for the word count, but
Yeah.
from my perspective, knowing the entire book and, like, if you remove this thing over here is not gonna work. Like, I know it makes this section work, but, like, 200 pages
Yeah.
later, we're gonna need it, you know? And so there were a lot of places like that where just
Yeah.
I knew I was we can't lose that, and so she said, "Okay, that's fine, but it still needs to be shorter." And
Yeah.
so just cut 5,000 more words. You can choose which words, which is almost harder because you're like, "Well, but I like all of these words."
I'm invested in everything. It's hard to take a step back.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I write this way on purpose, and I think people like this, but okay. Um, but it was very tedious. I just since I wasn't able to lose big sections, it was literally, like, line by line, just taking out of, that, like,
Oh, wow.
combining it was and just or just, like, taking out context for, like, a dialogue tag, you know, like,
Mhm.
little it was surgery. It was so tedious, and I basically I turned in my draft, and then about a day and a half later is when I was asked to do this, and so I was expecting a much longer break.
Oh,
Mhm.
And
wow.
I did not feel like I had fresh eyes. I didn't feel like I had any gas in the tank to just, like, push through because it's easy to
Yeah.
say cut 5,000 words. It's really hard to actually do it, especially when you're just exhausted. But,
Huh.
I found a way to do it without losing the story, and I'm happy that I did it. On the other side of it, like, while I was
Yeah.
going through it, it was really, really miserable.
Oh,
But,
I know.
I've had almost 2 weeks of a break since then, and I'm feeling much more refreshed. But I was like, "I
Good.
can't, like, I gotta save some energy because 'cause I'm gonna have copy edits, and then after copy edits, you have to read through when they print it all out, um, with the right font and the pagination just to make sure nothing got lost." And those are tedious reads too because it's really, like, I know the story. You can kind of get lulled in because you start to have it memorized at this point.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
And
so
your
really pay
brain
attention.
knows. Yeah, your brain knows
Yes.
what it should be there,
Yes.
which is why
Yeah.
it's so hard to edit your own stuff, especially for grammar and
Mhm.
punctuation and stuff, because you're like you just skip over
Right.
things.
Totally. Yeah, and sometimes things just don't jump out at you the same. So I'm glad to have a little break before we go back into the next tedious rounds, but I'm thrilled to say, like, we're getting close.
That's
These should be
Nice.
amazing.
nothing compared to, like, the past year or so.
Wow.
Because
How many
I wrote the
times?
first draft. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, 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 go ahead.
I wrote the first draft, I started it well, we sold it before I wrote it, and so I had written, like, the first 3
Nice.
chapters. And then my task was to write the rest of it by I wanna say it was, like, supposed to be early November, but then I had a lot of, like, family issues in my extended family, some health problems that popped up, and so I had to get an extension, turned in my first draft on New Year's Eve, and then the lodge came out on January 7th, I believe, 6th or 7th, like 6
Wow.
days later after I turned it in, and
Wow.
so, then I had my book tour, and it was just really exciting. But then
Yeah.
I went straight back into, like, revision mode in February and have been there ever since, and so it's been just a solid year of focus, focus, focus with a brief, like, "Hey, let's put a whole book out in the world. Okay, back to focus."
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It sounds all really exciting to me. I mean, that
Mhm.
Yeah.
is like, man, if
It
I
sounds
could do this.
exhausting.
No, it
It
sounds
sounds fun
yeah,
writing it.
exhausting, but exciting. Like if I keep
Yeah.
saying if there was a way to make writing books like my living, I would. So that is like next step in the line, querying and
Mhm.
all the
Yeah,
things I'm not looking forward to.
there are advantages, I feel like, though, to self-publishing as well, like, you just have so much more
Definitely.
control over your timeline and,
Oh yeah.
not cutting 5,000 words if you don't
No,
want
I still have
Yeah,
to
to.
her
cut. I
books are
still have to cut.
chunk
My books are on the longer side. I write like
Yeah.
her books are
170,000,
huge.
Oh, wow! Let me see the
which
cover, let me see it.
So this is her first book, Tiny Fractures,
Aw.
and then this
Okay.
is her second book, Edge of Unbroken,
Okay.
and they're both
Okay.
chunky, and I
Yeah.
fear Edge of Unbroken's just a little bit chunkier than Tiny Fractures.
yeah, which
That's
is why
awesome.
I knew that I knew that with at least this series, the series that's out now, I had to go the self-publishing route
Yeah.
because they were like 170,000 words. I was like, there's no way
Mhm.
a traditional publisher with a
Yeah.
debut author in the
Mhm.
romance realm is gonna agree to
Yeah.
that. And they're like, no, that's 2 books. Are you joking?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Mine
So
was basically, like, get this down to 100K. So,
yes,
Wow.
and
that
so
was the goal.
I'm trying that with the book I'm writing now to see if it could get
Mm.
picked up. But it sounds all really exciting.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell us about this new book that is now, in the
Yeah.
editing phase?
Okay,
Do you
sure.
have a tell us what can
Yeah.
you say?
It is called The Great Outdoors. It
Ooh, I
is,
love that.
kind of a departure from celebrity romance, but it still is it's the way I like to describe it is basically imagine, like, Elle Woods from Legally Blonde meets, Alexis Rose from Schitt's Creek, and
Oh my
imagine
gosh.
Oh,
if both of them, like, combined into one character, imagine if they were broken up with for being too high maintenance, and
No
to,
way.
like right? And basically the ex is like, "I'm going camping, but you're not invited." Like, he makes plans, and she's like, "What?" Um, and he's like, "What? You would die after 1 day." And she's like, "I would so not die." So she signs up for the
yeah.
camping trip, only to find out that he flaked and never signed up. So she's on this trip by herself for 2 weeks in the wilderness, and it's past the point they've already broken up, and this is all within, like, the first chapter. So,
Yeah.
no spoilers there, but, she goes on the trip, and there is a hiking guide who is love interest material, who is very used to staying professional and to himself and, like, not getting too close to his hikers, and so it's a group of about 10 hikers, including her, and she's, like,
Mitten.
self-inspired, like, I can't the reason I got this idea, I play a lot of tennis, and, I am a chronic overpacker, and I cannot go to the tennis courts even without bringing, like, my backpack with, like, my tote bag full of writing stuff, and then, like, my other bag full of if I need to change clothes, and my
Yeah.
Yeah.
coffee in my little ceramic mug. Um, and my coach one time was just like, "Kayla, I would love to see you, like, sign up for a backpacking trip where you could only bring 1 backpack and you have no control over, like, fancy meals and stuff like that," and I was like, "This sounds like my nightmare, and I need to
Mhm.
write a book about it," and I did.
That's
Oh,
Um,
that's
awesome.
brilliant. You get the
so
inspiration from the most random places. Yeah, that's
yeah,
brilliant.
it
Mhm.
really is, yeah, like, all of every idea has hit very, very, at random, and, they just morph into what they become, but they're
Yeah.
fun to explore, and, I was really happy to write this book. I loved like, despite how hard it's been, it's man, I relate to these characters so hard, like, both of them,
Cool.
and it's just a really fun book, lots of wilderness adventure and fish out of water, like, she's doing her best, but this is not her scene.
I can't wait
I
to
love
pick
that.
that
I
up.
can't wait.
Thank
Honestly,
you.
like she said in the beginning, you're an insta by author for me.
Uh,
I do have a question about the reunion though.
yes.
Where did you get Ransom as the name for the
Oh,
MMC? Because
yeah. I love that
like
name.
I reread it like 6 times. I'm like, "Nope, that says Ransom."
Yes. I think I was listening to a lot of Reputation, Taylor Swift. I know she's everywhere. I saw your post
Okay.
this
I
morning.
know. I gave Tyler such a hard time for posting that. I was like, babe, but people just enjoy it. Just let them live their
Gonna
life.
have to I'm gonna have to post like a "Guys, I think my period's coming" or something, like, cause like
No, but I get it, I get it, I get it. But I think I was
everywhere
listening to, "He could be a ghost then, holding me for
for
ransom.
Ransom.
Some boys are trying too hard. He
Too
don't try at
hot, he
all
do
though."
try
You know that
also.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
a great
ransom,
name.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
I
probably
think
a
it's
mix of that and, "His wounds have paid my ransom," like the Christian song.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. You are really
Yeah,
mixing
it's
genre.
like I don't know, I probably heard both of those at the same time and, like,
Mhm.
It
they
is
just meshed.
I love it
Think
though
so.
because there's something about, like, getting, sometimes fantasy books can have outlandish names in, like, different languages, and you're like, "You hurt my brain. Like,
Yes.
why is this such a complicated name?" Ransom, I feel like could be a boy's name or a girl's name. Like,
Yeah.
it
I'm sure it
was
is.
unique, but it was I've never seen it anywhere, but I was like, "It's
It's
unique, but it fit, and it fit him."
thank you, yeah, I think it was weird because I had never really seen it either, except I watched Knives Out fairly, soon, like, after I came up with
Yeah.
it,
Good
and
movie.
I think one of the characters there is named Ransom.
You
I
now
might
that you
be
say it,
wrong,
yeah. No, I
but
think you're correct.
yes, weird things like that also, like I don't know, I must have some sort of weird, like, synchronicity with the world, because I in the reunion also, like, my fake pop star, her album
Yeah.
is called Midnight,
Yep.
and I came up with that, like, years before Taylor Swift ever announced her album called Midnight,
Oh,
and then, like,
interesting.
there's even things like she's called herself a mastermind and, like, meet me at
Mhm,
midnight, things like that, in
mhm.
my book, and it's weird because, the book was in advanced copy state when she made that announcement, but the book itself hadn't come out yet. And so I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, she copied Taylor Swift." I'm like, "I did not copy Taylor Swift.
Do you know how long
I
it takes
had
to
this
write a
written
book?
before she ever
Yeah.
announced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably already accidentally titled something else."
Mm,
So,
Yeah.
for
you
sure.
know,
I don't
but
doubt it.
yeah,
The synchronicity is so interesting because I noticed that too. I will something I'm writing or that's in my prior
yeah,
book, and then something else will pop up. I'm like, so the biggest one for me is my main character in the books that are out now
yeah.
is green eye, dark blonde
Oh,
hair, and is
uh-huh.
left-handed, which I all thought were like, not
Mhm.
necessarily common traits, right? Everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, why does every MMC have
Yeah,
to have
that
green eyes?
combination.
It's the 2%, blah, blah, blah." Eh.
Gray eyes. Every MMC has gray eyes. Never in
Yeah,
my life have
but
I seen anybody with
my
gray eyes.
and I joke with my husband that our 5-year-old son, and I started writing my books like a decade
Yeah.
ago, is dark blonde, left-handed, and has green eyes, and I'm like, "Man, it's like
Wow.
we built ourselves a little,"
A
and
little
it's
Yeah.
brand.
so weird, like the little synchronicities in this world, or like just
Oh,
little things like
little
that
things.
that'll pop me like, "That's so
That's
weird."
crazy.
So
Yeah.
when is The Great Outdoors releasing? Do you have an official
So
publication date?
I've been told summer 2026. So I think
Ah,
before
so
it
long
got
still.
I know, it's so far
Yeah.
away. So I mentioned I had to like get an extension last fall, and then I had to get another extension this spring. After I don't know, it just took a little bit longer than expected. So originally, I think it was supposed to be like April or May of next year. I'm not sure if that's looking like June yet or later. I'm supposed to find out soon. So I'll be posting that all over Instagram and everywhere else as soon as I know like
We will be
exactly
sharing.
when. It feels
Yeah.
like forever though. It was an even longer wait between the reunion and the lodge though. So it was like 2 full years,
Oof.
and I was trying to avoid that by going a little faster this time, but it still got pushed back. So,
It is what it is.
yeah.
So you need to get like consent for the extension?
Yeah, usually they're pretty flexible as long as it's like, not competing with other titles that they have planned for specific release dates or seasons.
Yeah,
So sometimes you just have to they have to shuffle things around accordingly, like for every book that they
sure.
push, just because they have them on a schedule. Like if everybody got extensions at the same time, that would be bad. Because like, okay, now we have a gaping hole here in the spring, and then like 10
Yeah.
books in August.
That makes sense.
So I think, yeah, but they've always been really kind whenever I'm just like, hey, this is not going to happen. By this time, I can either like do less or I can have more time, and
Get you good
nobody wants me
product.
miserable, which is nice. Yeah, yeah. They want it to be good. They don't want me to like suffer physically or mentally or emotionally.
For sure. Well, and
And
it's
you're
in their
Yeah.
with
best interest too, I would think,
Yes.
yeah.
to,
Yeah.
for you to be able to,
Mhm.
provide them with the best crafted
Yeah. Yeah.
product because they want
It
to make
feels right
Exactly.
now
money.
like a marathon full of sprints, but I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna slow down just a little bit, but
I believe that.
And you're signed with Simon& and Schuster, right?
yeah,
Which
it's
is
an
really is
imprint
it
So,
for
called
the
Atria.
lodge?
Mhm.
Atria, yeah. Is it for the
Yes.
lodge and for the reunion?
Yes, and The Great
That's really
Outdoors, same
cool.
editor for all 3. So
Cool.
I bet
yeah.
that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
know they, like, understand your writing, because 'cause they've been with you for 3 books.
yeah, and her name, it's funny 'cause, I think one thing that probably made me stand out to her initially is because our names are almost exactly the same. Her name is
Oh,
Caitlin
What?
Olson,
Oh, what?
and
That's so cool.
yeah, my document I think that was submitted said K Olson, like my initial and then last name, and she saw it in her inbox and was like, "Wait, like, I didn't write that." So, yeah, it's nice to have that history of working together successfully on 2 previous books before this one, and then just I've had the same publicist and marketing team, and they're just fantastic people to work with. You can just tell that they genuinely care and put a lot of thought into every book that they publish, and, um,
Yeah.
you don't feel like just an afterthought or, like, just a number.
no,
So,
for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, they've been great.
Do you get to have input in the cover designs at all?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
It's been more and more with every cover. So,
Nice.
when I got the cover question for the reunion, people are like, "What kind of say did you get?" And I always say, I would have had more input had I not just immediately been thrilled. And I loved the cover that they did for that.
First one,
I love the
right? You're just
colors.
like,
It's just
"Whatever you want, I don't care, I'm so
yeah.
happy."
I love the artist they chose. I love, like, there's a lot of sunsets and sunrises in that book, and
Yes.
so,
Mhm.
I felt like it was really fitting. They got the same artist for the lodge,
Yes.
and
Same
I yeah, I loved it. I had
same
2 different
style.
So
color schemes to choose from, and this is the one I went with because I thought it looked so much better with
So
the
pretty.
reunion. The other one I saw was more like a light pink sky with a lot more, evergreen feel, so it was a little more like pink and green. It was so pretty, but, like, next to the reunion, it just didn't pop.
Well, yeah, it would
So,
be very
yeah.
similar. Well, and I feel like,
Mhm.
I mean, they're literally like out on in a ski lodge. Like there's winter and
Yeah.
then there's the Yeti and all the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
happen. So I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
mean, the colors are perfect and
I
I
love
love
it.
the style and I love that it's the same
The soft
illustration
Yeah.
style for both books
Thank
yeah.
because
you.
it
Yes.
like you pick them up and you're like Kayla Olson.
Yeah, and we got the
Yeah.
same artist for
100%.
my next one, so we're working on the cover together
Perfect.
now, and they actually gave
I'm
Nice.
me, like,
imagining green
3
and soft
yeah.
green tones
I
and
love
woods
that
and
so
They gave me
much.
3 sketches to choose from this time, and that was really hard,
Mhm.
but I'm really happy with the one that I picked, and then,
Nice.
I liked all the other ones so much that I was like, could you color these in so I can make art prints out of them?" So she
Oh,
did. So
great
I actually
that's
idea.
have
so
my
cool.
cover and then 3 separate prints, that we worked on together to just cute little scenes of my characters, with pretty skies everywhere. So we're still, like, fine tuning some of the details. So I don't
Yeah.
know when we're gonna do the cover reveal, but I think people are gonna love it.
I have no doubt.
Yeah,
I
You
she's so
should come
talented.
another
you should come back on our podcast
Oh,
yeah, if you
to
next
when we
want,
year
do
when
that.
it
if we
comes
don't
out.
scare you off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
That would
Yeah.
be
No,
so
I'd love
great.
to. So, thank you.
Another, a little fun fact about Kayla, and I'm so jealous, even though I hate them, she gets puzzles custom made of her book covers, and she does them,
Yes.
and she has them in frames, and JV, I was gonna leave it to this so I could tell you, you should do the same thing.
Let me
But
see.
yeah, she gets full-blown puzzles
I don't know
that
if you
are
can see those,
made.
but I'll have to send you
Oh,
pictures. Like that area is a
yeah,
little
Yes.
messy, but I have 2 that are like on the floor and one that's
yeah,
hanging on the wall right now. But
Oh,
I was like,
how
"Oh
many
my gosh,
pieces?
where can I get them?" But
there
she
are
gets them custom
thousands.
made.
Nice.
I ordered them
Yes.
from Ravensburger because that's my favorite puzzle maker, and once I
They do make
discovered you can
great
they're
puzzles.
great. They're, like, thick and the pieces fit together perfectly. The quality is really good, and
Really
so,
good.
I ordered custom puzzles for them. Ooh, I'm gonna maybe I'll order, like, all 4 prints because that would be so fun to do
Yep.
with all the art. Anyway, I just love puzzles. However, my book cover puzzles are some of the hardest puzzles I've ever done.
Really?
Because if you look at the reunion cover, like, the yellow was
Yeah,
so
it's all the
hard.
same.
It's
And
all the
Really?
you would think that the white title would be easier, but that was actually really, really hard too because it was just, like, all these little jagged white pieces. Like,
Yeah.
how do these fit together? And then the lodge was also really, really hard because there's so much just purple and
Yeah.
blue and,
Very similar tones. Oh, but
mhm,
how fun. That is a great
they
idea.
were
I didn't even know
fun.
that you can get custom puzzles ordered through Ravensburger.
Yes, so just go to their website, and I think they stopped during COVID, but then they resumed after that, and,
Nice.
because I had only ever thought about doing it for, family presents or something, like
Yeah.
a photograph, but
Mhm.
once I realized, I thought, "Oh, I could," and it's nice because it makes great wall art. You glue it together, and it's like a big poster, but
Yep.
even while you're making it, I like to do, time-lapse videos so I can share them. I have those on my Instagram, so if anybody once you share the
Brilliant.
podcast, they can go back through my reels or I can send those to you so you have easy links. But they were really fun to make. But I think the lodge probably took me 6 months because I was so busy and it was just
Yeah.
on. I have a little puzzle board so you can move it around and stuff.
Is it
But
like a one of those rolls that you can roll together without breaking the puzzle apart?
it's just like a big flat board
Mhm.
that's big enough to have the puzzle and it has a piece of plastic that goes over it. It has a bunch of little drawers so you can put the pieces in.
Cute.
Smart.
Yeah.
It
Smart.
eventually just came for both covers, it just came down to me, like, testing piece by piece. It was so tedious, but I was committed.
You were like, "This is supposed
So,
to be relaxing. It's not relaxing
yes.
anymore."
That's why I don't
No,
like
and I've been in a
puzzles.
puzzle slump ever since because they were so tedious, and I guess in my mind, I'm just like, "It's gonna take 6 months for every puzzle I start," but, most of the ones I do, I love the ones that like, they're hard enough, but they're not, like I don't like landscapes, like pretty ocean and sky because those are impossible, but I love ones with, like, a grid of butterflies or like a grid of citrus fruit, like anything where you can just
Mhm.
kind of pick up a handful of pieces and kind of like piece out where they go.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
relaxing to me, but
The
yeah.
most recent one that I did, and I was like, "I don't think I'm doing a puzzle ever again," and it literally only took me one evening and my husband helped. I just find, like, Legos and puzzles and stuff like that, I think my mind's too active and I just get it's not fun for me, I don't have fun with it. Yeah, like,
Lego
the
Oh,
flowers.
yeah,
Lego
the Lego flowers. My
I
kids are really into
love
Legos right now,
I
so we do
love
those a lot.
them. Yeah, my son has always loved them, but then, they realized how much I love a puzzle, and they started giving them to me every, like, Christmas and birthday.
Sweet.
Like, yes,
See,
they're
the thing
fun.
with
That's
puzzles for
awesome.
me is enjoy doing them, but like the process of it, I feel very
Mhm.
accomplished when it's done. But then I'm like,
Mm.
man, but they were so dumb because what am I gonna do with it now? It's not like I'm gonna
Yeah.
put every puzzle on the wall. So
Yes,
it's like you
yes.
spend hours and hours only to destroy it again and put it back in the box. You know what I
That's
mean?
the
Like
Yeah,
definition
my
of
yes.
brain is like,
insanity.
I can't get there.
Yeah, you're like, "Ugh,
No.
why? Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. What is the point?
What is the point?" Yes, yep.
I mean, if it's actually something you put on the wall, right? Because some people do, or they have the Lego sets and then they display them. But for
Yeah,
my
like my
Mhm.
kids, I
Elsa
mean,
castle.
That's
yes, the Elsa
cute.
castle, but I'm like, my kids want to play
Yeah.
with it, and then it breaks apart, and it's like, ugh. Some of the stuff. I love Tyler. Actually, she was doing a book nook, and then I was like, I want to do a book nook.
Oh,
She
Oh,
hated
that's
it.
fun.
I loved it.
My mom has been doing some of those,
Yeah.
and, yes, I think she had mixed feelings. She really liked how it turned out
Yeah.
and,
yes.
enjoyed some of the process, but she was like, "It was very tedious."
Mhm. Very tedious, and the stupid pieces kept breaking, and the glue they actually give you is trash. I told JD when you do yours, I was like, "Buy super glue and use that because then you can move
Super
on
glue.
with your life and do more
Whew,
pieces
that
instead of waiting
sounds
for it to dry."
awful.
Yeah.
Man.
It's very haphazardly put together. The walls are all bowed, and I'm like, "It's perfectly imperfect, and I don't care, it's done."
Do you find it hard to, like, sit and read as well? Do you like audiobooks and, like, moving around? No? Mhm. Yeah.
So, I've never listened to an audiobook.
Okay.
I know it throws a lot of people off as a person who consumes books, but I make a point of taking care of current Tyler because 'cause I'm a mama with a toddler, and it's a lot of fun, and I work from home full time, and I'm a daycare full time, and there's a lot of things that I need to, like, separate myself from, so my happiest place is in my bed with a book, a drink, and a snack,
I love
and
that.
I prioritize that, like, I was up until I always say midnight 30. Uh, what is that? What is that?
12:30.
12:30?
12:30, thank you. Oh my god, my brain. I'm an intellectual, I have brains. Um, I was up till 12:30 reading last night, mostly because the book I'm reading, I'm just, like, totally absorbed with, but bad idea, because now I gotta do the rest of my day before I can get back to bed, but that is my happy place. I make time to read, and I love physically reading. I don't know if you're following along, but I'm doing a reading how many books I am tall,
Wow!
so that's my stack of this year.
There's her
That's
laundry basket.
awesome.
The
Don't look at my
aforementioned
laundry.
laundry basket.
That's awesome. No, that's
Yeah.
so cool. It's been so hard. I ask because, like, sitting still and, even doing a puzzle, doing Legos, I've found that I'm just lately having a hard time, like, sitting still, and that includes reading for me
True.
too. Because I
Yeah.
think I just been spending so much time at my desk, like, absorbed in words that when I'm not working, I just keep wanting to move around. So I've been playing more tennis than usual and, well,
Nice.
Good.
I play tennis all the time,
Fresh
so I guess it's
air.
not, like, more than usual, but, um, yeah, so things like that, like, I'm embracing, I guess, movement more than I did maybe 10 years ago, but, yeah, I'm trying to get back into reading again, because I love to read, but this year has kind of
Hmm.
broken my brain for words.
So
It's a
interesting, right?
person who yeah, as an author, like,
Yeah.
I could only imagine I was gonna ask how many times do you think you've read your book?
Whew,
The the
the
great the the
this
Too
haiku?
one
many
right now.
times.
Well, I read it after I wrote the first draft. I read it after I did the second draft. I read it well, maybe I don't know if we're counting. So, like, after I wrote it, I reread the whole thing.
Yep.
When I revise, you kinda go through it naturally because 'cause you're revising it, but then so we'll count that. But then I did a fast read at the end of that to see how it flowed. Same thing with the next draft for line edits, so I kinda read it through while, while revising, and then another time fast, and then I had to cut the 5,000 words. So in a year, 6 times. Actually, this has been since January, 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah. You get
And
pretty
then
sick of
I'm
it at the end there, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
and every author hits that point eventually. Usually it doesn't come till, like, copy edits or first pass pages. The so I'll have to do at least 2 more reads on it before it comes out.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Oh,
that's
yeah,
all.
that's crazy. I can
It
see how, as an author, you don't really have like, I could see you not wanting to pick up a book. Just because, like, even though it could be totally different, it could be a horror or something like that, but I can see how just for me, I work from home, I'm on my computer all the time. The last thing I wanna do is sit on my computer and do editing or do
mhm,
any of that stuff or play video games, like, I'm not a gamer. I
yeah,
couldn't imagine spending 8 hours a day on my computer and then spending the rest of my evening also on my computer.
mhm,
Like, you have to I think I totally understand where you're coming from, where you're like, "I'm kind of in a, like, a I just wanna move my body," because you
yes,
have to be sedentary to
mhm,
do reviews and stuff like that, unless you're, like, walking
yeah.
on a treadmill, which you probably have
Literally,
superpowers.
we ordered this little, like, I don't
Your
know if you can see
walking
it down there,
treadmill?
like a walking pad down there,
I have
Nice.
that too.
and my desk is a standing desk, so I got it for this
Right,
last
right.
round because
Oops,
I
sorry.
just you know,
Can't see it.
when you're working so much
Can't
when
see
you're
it.
working so much, you're just like, "Okay, the light is at the end of the tunnel, I'm gonna get there," but then it just kept moving, you know, and so
Yeah.
eventually I was like,
Yeah.
"Listen, like, sitting here is really starting to affect my health.
Mhm.
I'm gonna order this $200 treadmill from Amazon that's gonna get here tomorrow so that I can walk for the rest of this deadline because it is just
Yeah,
crucial at
for
this point." But
sure.
it's really easy. I'm happy to have it. I feel like maybe that'll help me read more too because I could take reading breaks and just do like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there.
Love
But
that.
yeah, that's
Totally.
exactly it. It's just, you know, my eyes get tired, my brain gets tired, and that's a huge reason why, like, I've pulled back a little bit on social media the past few months just because I literally like, my brain couldn't take it. And
Yeah.
Instagram has traditionally, for years, has been the one inbox that I'm super on top of, and this spring, this summer, I've just been so behind and I'm not used to it because I'm normally somebody who really tries to like interact with every single post, every single story, every single message. And it's just kind of gotten to a
Yeah.
point this year where I'm like, I have to be okay with not being timely and like my priority is that I have to write the book and then I can do what I can do, but I'm not a machine. Like I can't do
Mhm.
everything. You know, my eyes literally
Exactly.
will not rest me. Like I kept feeling just like twitching here and like twitching here. Cause even even when I'm on Instagram, like and nobody can see me, I feel like I make the same face that I make when I'm at an event. You know, like you're like pleasantly
Oh, really?
smiling and like trying to talk to you. It just like
Yeah.
activates that part of your brain where you're like making
Yeah.
small talk.
Yeah.
And my face was feeling it. I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, particularly around the time that the lodge came out and, like, the probably 2 or 3 months after that, my face was just like, "Okay, I can't even look at my phone either," 'cause,
Yeah.
um but yeah,
I get that. I,
it's
Honestly, give yourself some grace.
yeah.
yeah.
You know, enjoy what you're doing. Books will always be there, right? And whenever you're ready to come back to it. But just enjoy what you're doing. If you're enjoying being active, live that life.
For me, it's very much like the
Go ahead.
reading of the books because it's like you hone your craft not only by
Mm,
practicing by writing but also by reading
mhm.
other people's work
Yeah,
because it expands your vocabulary and
totally.
things like that. So I always feel a little bit like I should be reading more, but I don't, much
Yeah,
like you, Kayla, I don't find the time. Audiobooks
yeah.
are a savior. And I actually, this is going to sound really creepy, but, well, maybe it won't. But so I sleep at night with white
Mhm.
noise and an
Mm.
audiobook because
Oh,
I need
wow.
blabbing. And
Yeah.
so I was gonna tell you, and this was not planned, but total coincidence. I re-listened to The Lodge last night. So my husband and I,
Good.
we listened to audiobooks, and I was like, I want
Yeah.
to listen to something else. I put on The Lodge, and he's like, what's that? Yeah. And this is actually so well narrated. And
Thank
this is not
you.
narrated in dual POV because The
No.
Lodge isn't in dual POV,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's great. So
Thank
Tyler,
you. She's
I know, I
wonderful.
know.
I love my narrator. She's done actually
yeah.
all 4 of my books so far, so even my
Nice.
YA
Oh, cool.
books, and so,
Yeah.
they gave me choices on my first book, um, and she immediately just sounded like I heard my character in my head. For the second book, we had become friends, and she was like, "If you want me to do it again, like, feel free to, you know, tell your publisher." And that worked out. So,
Nice.
when I sold Romance, she messaged me again and was like, "Hey, I love working on your books." I was like, "I love having you on my books." And
Yeah.
so, like, she's just been able to follow me. I haven't heard any talk of the audiobook for The Great Outdoors yet. That'll be a little different because there is a whole male POV, so
Dual.
I guess
Yeah.
I would assume they would get a man for those chapters, I hope.
Probably.
I hope.
Maybe. We've had a narrator on who does the MMC
Yeah. She
voice,
does the
and
masked
Really?
voices.
she's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I know they had a guy and a girl for the interstitial parts of The Lodge last year, and
Yes. Yes. There is a
so that
guy
was the first
reading them.
time. So I assume if they're doing that for this book, like, maybe we'll find someone for The Great Outdoors. I guess, those conversations haven't happened yet, but, I would love to have her on all of my books. I think she's fantastic, and I'm so glad that you are enjoying her performance because
No.
I just really
Please
enjoyed
tell
her.
her. I
So,
really enjoyed it.
yeah,
And
thank you.
it's nice because I mean, that's the voice that's in there all night long.
Oh, yes.
All night. And it's very soothing, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great
that's
voice, great
awesome.
performance by
That's
her.
so fun. I totally relate to that. Like, I, we've been watching, my whole family, we have a son, and my husband and we are all loving Mario Kart World on the Switch too.
Oh,
And we have
nice.
found a new favorite YouTuber. His name is Short Cat, and he does all these like videos just narrating as he plays and his strategies and like all these things. We were watching one like right before I came in here, but his voice is it's a little different, but it's so calming to me.
Huh?
I
Oh, wow.
I could listen to his videos all day probably,
Yeah.
and it's just like playing Mario Kart, but
Yeah.
it's so random, but I totally know what you mean because it's just once you find a voice that makes you feel like calm and like engaged at the same time, it's not everybody can do that.
No, and you know what? Definitely think the narrator makes or breaks
Mhm.
the audiobook. Like your book can be as amazing because you hear it differently in your own head, and then if the narrator doesn't fit
Yes.
or it just isn't, yeah, there I definitely have preferences.
Yes, me too. I
So
have quit more than one book because I couldn't handle, like, the male voice, how it was
exactly,
being done.
yeah,
I was like, "Okay, I
yeah,
think maybe fantasy and nonfiction and
uh,
literary books, like,
yeah,
might be more for me unless they're, like,
yeah.
doubly narrated." But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I
so
love a
fun.
duet narration.
Mhm.
If you do get The Great Outdoors on audiobook, it sounds like it will. And I don't know how much input you get to have on
Yeah.
any and all of that, but I
Mhm.
would definitely recommend duet narration. I love the actual like back and forth between the
Yes.
different
It would be
voices.
so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully usually those conversations happen a little later. I bet we're probably,
Yeah,
like, coming into the season since
for sure.
they never send anything out until, like, it's mostly set, because you gotta have the final product done before somebody
Mhm.
records it all.
Sure,
And
Totally.
absolutely.
so, yeah, the timing of all that is usually
Yeah,
just, out of my
interesting.
control, but fascinating nonetheless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is. That's such an interesting process with the trad
yeah.
because we usually talk to indies or small
Mhm,
press.
Yeah.
mhm.
And so Yeah,
Yeah,
talking
totally
with
different, like
totally different worlds. Pros and cons to
Yes,
either
to
side,
both.
Both,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
It's what I'm
yeah.
learning
So much
too
easier probably to
as
build your backlist up in a short time frame if you are going the self-pub route. For me, it's like, "Okay, I have 2 rom-coms out, and I've been writing this whole time," but it just takes a
Mhm.
year or 2, can't put them all out at once, but what you
Yeah.
lose on that front, like, you gain in distribution and marketing efforts, that don't depend on you doing everything, so
And hopefully, an advance. It would
definitely, yes.
be lovely to get
Yeah.
an advance.
It's
I
yeah.
would die for that.
it is very nice, I will say, just to know, like, that the book you were working on will be a book because I wrote, gosh, so many manuscripts before I got an agent. Well, I have 2
Mhm.
agents, they work closely together, and,
Yeah.
then that book that I signed with them on did not go on to sell, so I wrote something else in the meantime, and that's what became my debut. Um, but yeah, it's it's very different, and I definitely know the feeling of, like, I'm sitting here, I've spent so much time, so much energy, I don't know, like, if it's a risk, it feels so risky to just even write, if you wanna put it out there 'cause, um, you don't know if all this time you're spending will ever end up on a book in a book on a shelf, and, even so, like, even if you're self-publishing it, there's no guarantees that, like, you'll recoup your investment, and it might take 2 or 3 books to, like, build up an audience of readers to, like,
Yeah.
start making money, so it's just such an act of faith, I feel like, just
It is.
to dive in, hoping that it'll connect with people in a way that, makes your time feel redeemed a little bit, but before
Yes,
I
for sure.
ever sold a book, I just hit a point where I was like, just being in the community and being
Yes.
around other artists and around other writers and readers, that is, even if I never see my name on a book spine, I hope to be in people's acknowledgments or like being there, like part of it along the way. And there are a lot of things, just the act of creating, like that make it feel worth it,
For
regardless
sure.
of what happens with it. And so, man, so many times it just hit me. I was just like, okay, you have to do this because you love it, not because you want people to love you for it. And like that has just kind of been a core motivator, even through like after getting book deals, you never have control over like who will say yes to you.
Sure.
Even if you get an agent to say yes, doesn't mean a publisher will. Even if you get a publisher to say yes, it doesn't mean a reader will pick it up. Even if they read it, it doesn't mean they'll like it. And so it's just no control over anything but like the process. And so learning to find joy in that, even when you're tired.
It's a good lesson for life for sure.
Yeah.
Do you in your contract, Kayla, if that's something that you can
Hmm.
talk about, if you write a manuscript
Yeah.
and your agent's not able to sell it, do you have an option to self-publish if you so wished?
Well, yeah. So, you're not really basically, I think are you talking about, like, contract with my agency?
Mhm.
Because
Or even your publishing house. Again,
like, with
total noob,
publishing
so
house,
please.
yeah. So, I think if a book doesn't work out, I would probably be free to self-publish it if I wanted to, and I've thought about it. There's some projects that I have, like, on the back burner that just we never even sent out to publishers, or like it's just kind of far from the wheelhouse that I'm working in right now. Like I have this fantasy manuscript that I'm like, just doesn't
It's
really
big right
fit
now.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But under contract with Atria, I basically like my next adult romance, they get the first look at. So
First dibs.
I
Yeah.
couldn't like self-publish an adult romance, but I could maybe do like young adult science fiction, things like that, something that's totally different than what I'm currently under contract for. Um, if my agents try and can't sell it, like you either just put it in a drawer, decide to do something with it, or like come back to it later. gosh, I have so many projects. I was even just, like, making a list yesterday because when I finally do get a break, when I'm not on deadline, I'm like, I wanna work on, like, everything, and there's probably, like, 10 things in my head that are in various stages that it's mostly a matter of time, why I haven't self-published any of that yet because 'cause I'm just, like, constantly trying to make these other things happen and
Yep.
being
Yep.
a mom and a wife and having 4 cats and a tennis hobby
All
takes
the
up a lot of
things.
time too.
Takes up
Not enough
time,
hours
yeah.
in the
Social
day.
media, like, trying
Gosh,
to stay
yeah.
active on there, and I generally do like Instagram. Every place else feels kinda like, "Eh." But
That's kind of where we met was Instagram. I mean, if it
yeah,
wasn't for Instagram, we wouldn't have
yeah.
this opportunity, so
So,
it's really
that's
cool.
my favorite spot on the internet for sure, so
Mine
I feel
too.
like the Instagram book community is very welcoming. There's definitely parts of the book community that you're like, you stayed away
Drama.
from or there's drama.
There's
But I
Yeah.
every
feel like
crowd.
but I feel like if you were to be in a fitness community, there'd be a lot more drama than there is in the book community. So I feel like I don't know, it's a safe place.
Yeah.
So
I've
Definitely
really
for the
enjoyed
most, yeah.
it. Just lots of sweet people and, I worked at Starbucks for a while, and when people come to Starbucks, it was so refreshing because I worked at Bank of America before that. And, like, when people come to the
wow.
bank, they're angry. They're
Yeah.
in a hurry, they're tired, they just want their money, and they always the wait is never short enough. People coming to Starbucks are also entitled, but at the end of the day, like, it's just coffee, and they're excited to order their coffee, and I
Unless you
kinda
mess
feel
it
like
up,
that.
then they're rageful.
Yes, that's true. Or, like, somebody once, like, threw a whole drink at my friend in the drive-through window because he had the nerve to charge her for syrup. But,
Oh, how fast I would have flown out that window with
yeah,
hands. I
Rude.
that's
like
crazy.
yeah, but, like, with coffee shops, it's generally, like, a place where people want to be, and that's kinda how Bookstagram
Yeah.
feels, like, people are there because they wanna be, because 'cause they're enjoying, like,
Yeah.
this aspect of their life and connecting with people, and so, um, yeah, I just have been happy to be part of it over the years and trying to keep up with it, it's
Yeah.
It's so much easier to be on Instagram when, like, you have a book coming out and lots of events to do, 'cause
Lots
Yeah.
of
the
things
in
to
between
post. Yeah.
yeah, the in between is just like, "Okay, I'm here at my desk still with my
Writing.
coffee, and nothing has changed in the past, like, 3 months."
Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, coming up with the content,
That's
we
so
were just
true.
talking about
Yeah,
that, like,
that's a
wait,
whole
so
other
you don't
job.
have a PA? Oh, well, maybe you need one, Tyler.
I've thought about it, then it's also an act of delegation, like,
And
what could I
trust.
delegate? Yes, and trust, and,
Mhm.
sometimes you can tell when authors have a PA too. As an author, like, there have been a couple people I've, like, tried to interact with, and then it just feels
Yeah.
like a very canned response.
Yeah, no,
And
for
I'm
sure, I
like,
agree.
yeah, I want people to know it's, like, authentically me, like, interacting, but I definitely could use help, like, with content
Content.
ideas and creation and, like, actually, like, logistically, like, putting them up.
Same. That is
Yeah.
exactly what I want. I just want someone to create content for
Yes.
me. Like, just create the content. I can schedule it
Mhm.
because Tyler taught me how.
Yeah.
I can get it up there. I just need someone to create,
Mhm.
like, come up with the idea for the content and then create the content. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
A-okay
That
with me.
is I feel like I could use that as well, and so I've been talking to a friend who has been doing this kind of stuff for another author friend of mine, and I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
I have so many questions," and that's the other thing too,
Yeah.
because 'cause I'm like, of course, I would wanna pay somebody for their time, but, like,
Yes,
I myself, I'm not in a position to, like, pay someone to work a full-time job,
for
So,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
how does
It
that
has
work? Do
to
they
be
take on
side.
multiple clients?
Yeah.
I just have questions. So, she was happy to answer some of those. I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense." Like, it's just, like, by the hour, by, like, the job,
Mhm.
here and there. So, might
Mhm.
be something I should
Yeah.
consider as I move forward because it
Yeah, I
really
think you
I'm a
is
should.
website I'm the website designer for my husband's, their work, so I built their website and everything like that. It's kind of the same thing. Any hours I put on it, editing or uploading or whatever is just what I charge, and then it's just side work,
Yeah,
right?
and it adds up, I'm
But
sure,
I
for the creator.
yeah, yeah, when we were first building the site, it was a lot of hours going in because they were like, "Just do whatever you want." And I'm like, "How about you give me like, do what color? What color do you want? Like, just give me something." And they're like, "No, I like this website," and they were 2 completely different websites, and I was like, "Mhm."
Helpful.
But I
Yeah,
built them something that they love,
yeah,
so which is fantastic,
that's
but
awesome.
I it we've talked to, like we've had, 2 other guests on today because we like to just block record because we 'cause we're 2 mamas, and we
Love it.
can't sit down every single
We're
weekend, so we
busy.
do, block
Oh, that's
recordings,
awesome.
but everyone we've talked to is I have a creative mind that's I've given a couple of different ideas to different an
Mhm.
author and a bookstagrammer, and more and more, I'm like, "Maybe I should look into this PA thing because I
Yeah,
love content creation,
yeah.
as long as it's not my own," which is so funny because, like, what do you mean? I have ideas for everybody else, but not myself, but
Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I,
Dibs.
I know you said that.
I look forward to hearing, like, keep me posted if you decide to do that, because 'cause I'd love to hear just, like, how your experience goes and, if I'm ever in a
Yeah.
position to,
No, I'd
like,
love it.
ever, like, actually think about it, but yeah,
I know. I
that's
know.
exciting.
Wouldn't it be lovely to just have
Yeah.
people doing all that stuff for you? How does that work for you? Do
Uh,
you have, and again, this is author interest
mhm.
in your
Yeah.
world. Do you have like a marketing budget that they give you, or how does that work
Mm.
for you? I'm just
Um,
wondering.
yeah, I'm sure there is a budget. I don't know what the number is.
I just don't know
Um,
what that is.
but I know that, like, some things, they have a very specific way they do things, because
Yeah.
particularly with, like, when they would gave me all those options for the cover, and I said, "Ooh, could we, like, have her color them in?" Um,
Mhm.
and that was kind of like the answer I got was, "That falls under the marketing budget, not the cover budget, and, this involves more conversations about what do they already have planned, how much mileage would we get for that money," and so,
Mm,
ultimately, I didn't wanna wait on that, I just was like, "I'll just do it myself." So, I paid her for that,
yeah.
which was awesome, I was happy to do that, but it's a lot of my own. If I have ideas outside of what they are planning, then that's on me.
And you can still do that, right?
Yeah.
So they'll still like for the podcast today,
Yeah.
I was low key wondering. I'm like, is her publishing company or her marketing team or
Mhm.
publicist gonna have an issue with her coming onto
She'll
our
be
little
fine.
itty bitty baby podcast?
Yeah, no, I feel like, some people are extremely, like, handled, I guess. I don't know how else to say that, like,
Yeah.
you can say yes to this, you can say no to this, you have to say, very strict. With
Yes.
mine, I feel very supported and empowered by my
Nice.
publicist and my team to just, like, she has been essential at organizing events and getting those going and submitting
Nice.
me for things, and, like, um, doing so much communication between bookstores and, other publicity outlets and stuff. But I still
Mhm.
also have the freedoms, like, if I get invited, by a bookstore, like Bookstore Romance Day, there was this place called Biblio Bar down in Plano, which is near where I live, like an hour, 45 minutes away. And they invited me, if it's close to my, like a book launch season where we have a bunch of things to manage, then I'll run everything by her. But if it's something where it's like, this store already has my books in stock, it's an hour, it's close, it is basically my own time and commitment that, she doesn't have anything to organize. And so I think she's of the opinion that, like, the more publicity, the better.
For sure.
And I love that. I think it's a very I think it can be short-sighted when people just look at things based on the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, this podcast has a bajillion followers versus this one has
Mhm.
whatever,
78.
yeah, you know what? Like, I bet your 78 people are probably as engaged as, like, or more. You probably have a more
Yeah.
concentrated engagement rate. You know, people who are choosing to be here, who are here at the ground level of like, you know, what you're doing. And I think that there's so much value in that. I never want to be a person who's like, "Ugh, it's too small," you know, like that's not kind and that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Yeah.
true, you know, like even at the smallest events I've done, I remind myself like some events will sell out and some are just a few people and it's usually
Mhm.
not about you. Sometimes they're planned on Super Bowl Sunday and are not advertised well, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
people who show up went out of their way to show up, and it's like every person is a chance to, like, make a genuine connection with somebody, you know, and chat about our mutual love of books, and
I
yeah,
agree.
you know, I think she loves me having the chance to do that, however that
Nice.
looks with my time and my energy, and if I don't have energy or time, I'll say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
Good for you,
and
setting
nor
boundaries.
yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago that, like, you just cannot give 100% to everything you want to. Um, and yeah, I don't know, when I can say yes, I enjoy saying yes. So, I'm so happy that I was able to come chat with you guys.
We are too. We hope that,
Yeah.
when it's time for the Great Outdoors release, you will
Yeah.
grace us again with a visit. We'd love
If you have
that.
time.
Aw, thank
And
Yeah.
we
you.
will, dude, we will do this on a
Standing
Sunday.
invitation.
Yeah, any
Be like, "Hey, girls, I wanna come on," and we'd be like, "Sweet.
no,
Y'all
we'd
are
love
amazing.
that.
I
See you
would love to
Saturday."
chat with you guys again,
Yeah, that would
and
be so
especially since it
great.
doesn't come out for a while, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it won't be like, "Okay, 2 weeks now, 2 weeks later, here I am again."
Tyler
Yeah.
Tyler will be in touch. We'll make sure to set
Yeah.
some time aside for around
Yeah.
there, maybe
Yep.
when you're not
Yeah.
super swamped,
Totally.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds so good. No,
Totally.
the other
Yeah.
thing about these is just, like, I genuinely enjoy, like, chatting like this, and so it feels energizing to do podcast conversations with other
That's
reader
great.
friends, and so, reader/writer friends,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I say yes when I can, but
That's so
It's so
awesome.
big to hear, like, we've had people on who are indie, self-published, but maybe their sister or something like that, or traditional published. We've heard some horror stories of people being like, "They gave me 3 options for my book cover, and I said anything but this one, and they published the one I didn't want." And I'm
What?
like,
No.
yeah, that's so sad, but it's so good to hear Simon& and Schuster. I just got on their PR list. They sent me a book out of nowhere, and I was just like, "What do you mean?" Like, it was completely shocking. But it's so good to hear such good things about Simon& and Schuster, and just, like, how
Truly.
you feel so taken care of, but also not restricted, and
Yes.
your feelings are considered,
Yeah,
and you actually do have some creative control, and they don't just go, "You don't know what's good
yeah.
and what's trending right now."
Right.
Like, we had one lady who she said that she submitted a book, but there was no baby in it, and they're like, "You need to put a baby in your book because it's the biggest thing right now." So she rewrote the whole book with a baby, and they came back and they're like, "Babies are too much right now. It's gonna come out next year." Like, it's just like, "What do you
Oh,
mean?"
that sounds maddening and, like, really frustrating. No, I've been very fortunate in this team, and especially too, like, when I don't know, I've just been really impressed with how they treat every author. I feel like, as an equal priority, I feel like they take on a good number of books to be able to give attention to people. It's not like too many books that they're trying to just throw spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
Everything feels
Yeah.
intentional. I do feel heard and supported. And another thing too, like my books are steamy, but they're not like open door. And I feel like in there's so many open door romances, you know, and those sell very well. And I feel grateful that, like, while I read widely, you know, I just haven't written that kind of content, and nobody has ever pressured
You
me
haven't been
to.
forced into it.
And
Yeah, that's really
I
good.
think it's great that they recognize that there are readers of all tastes, you know, and
All
there's
kinds of
yeah.
kinds. Yeah.
So I try to make up with that for that in like additional romantic tension and just steamy moments.
It's
But
so good, guys.
thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so,
So, but
so
yeah, I can't
good.
speak highly enough about them. They've been wonderful. And Yeah,
It's
just so, yeah.
A Tria Books, not Simon& and Schuster, Tria
Well,
Books.
they're part of Simon& Schuster.
Imprint.
So,
They're
like,
part of it.
Simon&
Yeah.
Okay.
Schuster's, like, the big company, and then they have little pockets, imprints that do different kind of books, and so Atria is, like, romance and some mystery thrillers as well, and yeah, they're just great. So, yeah,
That's
That's so
awesome.
awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, we always say this. We
You
never want
have
to
to
get
I know, I don't
get
don't wanna
we
leave.
never want to finish, but
Yeah.
we
No.
always have to. So, Tyler, do you want to do your little outro?
Yes, okay, so if you've listened to the podcast or if you've seen Hot Ones, where they kind of throw the camera to the guest and they get to do their, like, kind of promo, books they got coming up, places you could find them, events, stuff like that, we do something similar. So I'll get into outro, Tyler. He made me laugh. Okay, so we hate to do this, but alas, we do have to say goodbye. But Kayla, it has been such an honor. First of all, thank you so much for giving this little podcast a
Yeah,
chance and sitting
thank
down with
you.
us
You
and
were just
just
on like
being so
NBC
cool. Yeah, seriously, we didn't even
and now
get to
you're
meet
here.
you. Yeah, it's so crazy. I can't believe we actually didn't even talk about that. But first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank
That
you.
was
That was so
incredible.
cool.
Yeah, super huge shout out and everything she said about the book, 100% agree with. But before we let you go, the mic is yours. Let the people know what you've got going on in your
And where
life.
we can find you. And I'm gonna hold
Yeah.
this up while you do that.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for having me on. Yes. So my favorite corner of the internet is Instagram. You can find me there at author Kayla Olson, and that is spelled Olson, not like the Olsen twins. And my website is kaylaolson.com, and I have both of my romances out right now and a third one coming out next summer called The Great Outdoors. And until then, I will just be posting a lot about the writing process on my Instagram and would love to connect. So, yeah. Thank you so
I
much for
love
having
that.
me. So,
You know what?
Do you have any oh,
I
go
know
ahead.
I know we're supposed to get done. I have one more question. It just
sure.
popped into my head because
Mm,
as I was reading the lodge. Okay. And I know that Olsen is like a
yeah.
Nordic,
Mm,
like
hmm.
Norwegian, Swedish something.
Yeah.
And you reference in your book a Nordic dish.
Lessa. Okay.
Yes. Do,
Yeah.
okay. So is Olsen your married name? Are you actually of Northern European descent? And do you cook that kind of food, like Kransekake for like Christmas?
Yeah. So yes. I am my maiden name was Han, so I was like um half German, Irish English on like what I've been born with, but my husband's whole family is Norwegian. And um so I've been in the family for decades. And, his dad in particular is incredibly good at making lefse and krumkake, and, I've tried my hand at it at home. We tend to have some very difficult moments getting the consistency not too wet and not too crackly. It's difficult, but it's so worth it every time. I literally have never met a potato I didn't like, and so having a potato tortilla.
I
That
just
came
love
directly
that.
from me in the books.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I have to ask her about this when we get to
Yes.
talk to her. I'm glad I
Yeah.
remembered. I'm sorry, Tyler, for
Yeah.
Yes. No,
hijacking.
no, that's okay. If you didn't know, JV is German,
I am
Oh,
so
that's
German.
I'm pretty
amazing.
sure she
Okay,
resonated with
so
that.
that's awesome. I could hear
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
slight accent, and that was my guess, so I was like, "I think she's German." But
I haven't been
amazing.
told I have an accent in a long time.
It's funny. You
You definitely
it's
do.
very subtle, very
Yeah.
subtle. So, it was
But
probably
you're
like
also
10
from
minutes in before
California.
I noticed.
Yeah. You have, like, a Californian German accent, if that makes
A
sense.
Kellerman.
Color.
Kellerman.
Kellerman. Yeah.
Kellerman.
Just one final question. Do you have any events coming up that people should know about?
Oh, yes. I will be at Half Price Books in Dallas on October 7th with Joss Richard to celebrate her debut called It's Different This Time. It is
Nice.
so cute and so good. I've told you what a hard time I've had reading this year, but her book, I picked it up and I binged it because it was so good. It's a second chance
Nice.
Perfect.
romance set in New York City, and the male love interest is a chef, and the girl is a Broadway singer, and they inherit this brownstone apartment. Anyway, so if you're in Dallas on Tuesday, October 7th, I'll be there with her. And then at the end of October, early November, I'll be out in Anaheim for Steamy Lit. So I think
Oh, you're gonna be
there's
at Steamy Lit.
yes.
I'm
So this
gonna
will be my
you know what? I wasn't
yeah.
gonna go,
Are you
but
gonna go?
now
You
I
should
may have to
come.
You
and
should
stop
go.
by
Josh
and
will
say
also be
hi.
there, I think. So yeah, you should definitely come if you can. This will be my first year at Steamy Lit, and yeah, really, really excited about it. So
All
that's
right, I'll be the weird one. Hey, do you remember doing the podcast with me?
oh no, please. I love meeting people in person. Although sometimes like if we haven't chatted face to face, if I only know like an Instagram handle, I'm like, what is your handle? Because like it's hard to put
Yeah.
faces with names. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and people sometimes they don't use their face, right?
right.
Sometimes they are like anonymity or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
So well,
Okay, my husband's checked on me like 3 times now. My dad is waiting for me to be done, so yeah, exactly.
well, thank you all so much for having me. It was great to chat, and
Thank
I
you
look
for
forward
Thank
to
being
doing it
you.
here.
again. But yeah,
Yes,
Yes, it's so much
absolutely.
fun.
Thank you so
all
much,
right.
Kayla.
Thank you. All
Yes.
right.
Oh.
Bye.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.